I used to lie on my couch, scrolling through TikTok at 3 a.m., watching other people chase their dreams while I sat there, doing nothing. I wasn't tired. I wasn't busy. I just couldn't bring myself to move. Every night I told myself, tomorrow I'll get my life together. And every tomorrow turned into another yesterday I wasted. It wasn't just laziness. It was like I was trapped in my own mind. And the worst part, I knew it. I knew I was wasting time. I hated it, but I didn't stop. Sound familiar? This is the story of how I stopped being lazy and took control of my life. But it didn't start with a motivational video. It didn't start with a morning routine or some fancy planner. It started with something way darker, a version of me that I didn't want to be anymore. Let me introduce you to Jake. He's not some random guy. He's me. Or maybe, he's also you. Jake's a normal dude in his mid-20s, smart enough to know better, but stuck in a loop. He wakes up late because he stayed up watching YouTube shorts until 4 a.m. The alarm rings at 7. He snoozes it. Again and again. Until it's 10, then 11. Guilt starts to creep in. So he opens Instagram. Dopamine hit. Now it's 1 p.m. He hasn't showered. He hasn't eaten. But he's scrolled through 82 posts of people doing way more with their lives. He tells himself, let me just get up and start. But his body feels heavy. Not tired, just unmotivated. It's like he's carrying invisible chains made of fear, doubt, and guilt. He opens his laptop to do something productive, but ends up watching a day in the life of a millionaire vlog instead. Jake has goals. Big ones. He wants to start a podcast, lose weight, build a brand. But every day those dreams drift further away, like a ship he missed. He watches others sail, while he stands on the shore, paralyzed by his own comfort. And here's the thing about comfort. It feels safe, but it kills growth. At night, lying in bed, Jake stays at the ceiling. He thinks about time, how fast it's moving. He thinks about how 5 years ago he had the same dreams, and how now, they're still just dreams. He whispers, I hate this version of me. Not out loud, not in anger, in defeat. That soft kind of self-loathing you feel when you know you're wasting potential. And then one night, it wasn't anything dramatic. Something inside snapped. Maybe it was the way his mom looked at him during dinner. Maybe it was that friend getting their third promotion. Maybe it was just the silence getting too loud. But he hit a point where staying the same hurt more than the pain of change. That was the turning point. Because laziness isn't about being weak. It's about being disconnected from your purpose, from your values, from your identity. Jake didn't hate work. He hated the idea of starting, because deep down he was scared of failing, scared of judgment, scared that maybe he wasn't good enough to make it out of the rut. That fear kept him still. But fear, if you let it, can also move you. So the next morning, no dramatic music, no miracle, just a quiet decision. I'll do one small thing today. Just one. And that's where Act 2 begins. Not with a transformation, but with a choice. Because that's how change really happens. Not overnight, but over many tiny, boring, unsexy decisions that stack up. And Jake, the lazy guy with a million excuses, was finally ready to take the first step. Jake didn't become a productivity machine overnight. Let's be real. The next morning was awkward. He woke up at 9:47 a.m., sat on the edge of the bed for 20 minutes, then forced himself to take a cold shower that lasted exactly 2 minutes before he bailed. He didn't feel inspired. He felt uncomfortable. But for the first time in months, Jake did something on purpose. That alone felt like rebellion, a quiet rebellion against his own comfort zone. See, people think laziness is about being lazy. It's not. It's about being stuck in patterns. And patterns don't break with motivation. They break with awareness. Jake's first big realization: motivation is a myth. The world sells it like a drug. Get hyped. Watch this video. Buy this planner. But the truth is, Jake waited months for motivation to come, and it never did. So he flipped the script. What if, just maybe, action creates motivation? He tested it. One small task: clean his desk. It took 10 minutes. Suddenly, his brain lit up. That wasn't so bad. That small win gave him just enough momentum to write a single paragraph for the blog he'd abandoned months ago. It was trash, sure, but it was real. It existed. That was turning point number 1, the micro-habit mindset. He stopped trying to do big things and just focused on doing something. Not for an hour, not perfectly, just consistently. 1 push-up, 1 paragraph, 1 minute of walking. And slowly, his brain started believing, maybe I'm not lazy. Maybe I'm just out of practice. But that alone wasn't enough. Because even with micro-habits, Jake found himself slipping, especially at night. That's when turning point number 2 hit, the identity shift. Jake read something that hit him in the chest. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And systems start with identity. Jake had always said, I want to be productive. But now he started saying, I'm the kind of person who keeps promises to myself. It felt weird at first, like lying. But repetition creates belief. So he built rituals, not routines. Routines can fail. Rituals feel sacred. His morning didn't start with pressure. It started with a glass of water, a 10-minute walk, and writing down 1 sentence he believed about himself. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to show up. That shift, from someone trying to become something to someone who already is that person, changed everything. Still, Jake had one more enemy to face, his environment. His phone? A black hole. His room? A comfort trap. His old friends? Well, they weren't exactly accountability partners. So came turning point number 3, designing for discipline. Jake deleted apps. Not all of them, just the time killers. He put his phone in a box across the room when he worked. He changed his wallpaper to a photo of himself at age 10, to remind himself who he was trying to become for. He also started texting one friend every night. Here's what I did today. No pressure, no judgment, just proof that he showed up. Accountability didn't make him flawless, but it made failure visible, and that visibility made change possible. Now, let's be clear. Jake still had lazy days. Days he overslept. Days he watched 6 episodes of something he already forgot. But here's the difference. He stopped letting one bad day become a bad week. Because the old Jake, he would fall and stay down. But the new Jake, he fell forward. And slowly, he started to notice something. He felt lighter, not because life got easier, but because he was finally carrying it with intention. He wasn't chasing a perfect version of himself. He was choosing, each day, to become a better one. No applause. No dramatic movie ending. Just small wins, stacked like bricks, building a life he could finally recognize. Jake didn't become a new person in 30 days. There was no viral glow-up, no I made $10,000 per month headline. But that wasn't the point. Because real transformation isn't loud. It's not about aesthetics or timelines. It's quiet. Internal. It shows up in moments that nobody claps for, like waking up without hitting snooze. Like choosing a book over endless scrolling. Like making your bed and feeling proud of it. It started with those tiny decisions. But over time, something powerful began to grow. Self-respect. Jake noticed it the first time he looked in the mirror and didn't flinch. He wasn't shredded. He wasn't rich. But he looked steady, like a man who could trust himself again. You know what's underrated? That feeling. Trusting yourself. After months, years, even, of breaking your own promises, it feels revolutionary to actually follow through. That was Jake's biggest win. Not productivity, not results, but that solid voice in his chest whispering, "You're doing it. Keep going." He still had doubts. There were days his mind screamed, "You're still behind. You're not doing enough." But now, Jake had evidence to fight back with. Evidence of progress, of discipline, of growth. He no longer needed to be perfect. He just needed to be consistent. That was his new rule, progress over punishment. One morning, about 3 months in, Jake sat at a coffee shop, laptop open, headphones in, writing a blog post about laziness in the human mind. And out of nowhere, he laughed. Not because he was happy, because he realized something wild. This version of me was always inside me. The guy who shows up, Who finishes what he starts? Who says no to comfort and yes to purpose? He wasn't some fantasy. He was Jake, just on the other side of fear. That's when it hit him. Laziness isn't the enemy. It's a message. It's your brain telling you something is off. Your goals don't excite you. Your path isn't clear, or your fears are louder than your dreams. When Jake stopped fighting laziness and started listening to it, he discovered what he actually needed: clarity, structure, and self-compassion. And slowly, things around him started to change too. He landed his first freelance gig. Not big money, but a start. He began exercising, not to look good, but to feel strong. He rebuilt friendships, not with people who validated his excuses, but with people who challenged his growth. And every time someone asked, "What happened to you, man? You're different," he smiled and said, "I just got tired of betraying myself." Because that's what laziness really is. It's the slow betrayal of your own potential. If you made it this far, maybe you're Jake too. Maybe you've been stuck, scrolling, sleeping late, making plans you never start. Maybe you've told yourself for months, "I'll change tomorrow." But here's the truth. You don't need a new year, a rock bottom, or a perfect plan. You just need one choice. Right now, not tomorrow. Do one small thing. Get up, drink water, write one sentence, take a 2-minute walk. You don't need to fix your life today. You just need to show your brain, we're not stuck anymore. Because once that switch flips, once you prove to yourself that action is possible, everything begins to shift. Not all at once, not with fanfare, but with quiet, daily proof that you're no longer waiting to become who you are. You're becoming. So if you're still listening, I'll leave you with this. Your life doesn't change when you feel ready. It changes the moment you stop waiting to feel ready and act anyway. Be your own turning point. No one's coming to save you. But you can save yourself, just like Jake did.